Hello and welcome to Business Nigeria. I am Yemisi Lanre Ido. The 11 electricity distribution companies in Nigeria have stated that the 701 billion naira intervention funds approved by the federal government for the power sector have the potential to worsen the revenue shortfall bedeviling the power sector. According to ANED's executive director in charge of research and advocacy, Sunday Oduto, the fund is just a partial solution to the liquidity challenges of the sector. It says the fund would only solve 300 billion naira energy supply liabilities, rehabilitate and replace faulty and old turbines, and pay for the supply of gas for the thermal generating plants. He noted that since the approved intervention is not expected to be a subsidy to the market, the assumption is that the proposed funding will eventually be recovered from the customers of electricity distribution companies. For such recovery to be effected, he argued that the Transmission Company of Nigeria needs to have the required capacity to wield the additional power being generated. Meanwhile, the Nigerian National Assembly has revealed plans to amend laws on power generation, transmission and distribution in the country. And this is aimed at following in the footsteps of Germans who allow residents to combine efforts and local resources to generate clean and renewable energy. Senate President Bukola Saraki says the project can be achieved in Nigeria if the government and operators take it seriously. He reiterates that the energy crisis currently being faced in the country remains a priority in the agenda of the Senate, as it is vital in eradicating poverty and unveiling the potentials of the people. All right, the naira traded at 455 naira to the dollar amid liquidity boost in the broader exchange segment of the forex market on Friday and Saturday. And the naira also appreciated against the pound sterling and euro as it traded at 545 naira and 470 naira to both currencies. The country's overnight lending rate dropped 12% on Friday from 16% a week earlier. Meanwhile, maturing bills and government budget disbursements pumped more cash into the money market. And confirming the proposed additional forex injection into the system over the weekend, the acting director corporate communications of the CBN, Mr. Isaac Okorafor, said the bank was determined to sustain market liquidity. All right, we'll take a break now and come back to talk more about this issue of power in Nigeria. Glad to have you back here watching Business Nigeria, and back to our focus on the power distribution in Nigeria. And the latest coming out from that sector is that 11 electricity distribution companies in the country have stated that the 701 billion naira intervention fund approved just last week is not enough, and it seems to be a potential to worsen the revenue shortfall witnessed bedeviling the power sector. And joining me now on phone, Nnemeka will be joining me on phone. Nnemeka Obiareri, an economist and a financial analyst. Yeah, Nnemeka, before that connection, I was saying, let's look at the generation, the power generation in Nigeria. And so far, about 5,000 megawatts was generated. That's the highest so far, and that was in February 2016. And since then, it's been plummeting, hovering between 3,000 megawatts and 2,000 megawatts just in February 2017. But now it's plummeting. What's happening to the privatization of that sector? And looking at what the 11 distribution companies are saying about the recent intervention fund.
I think the major problem we have with our power sector reform, in fact, is bedeviled by a lot of problems, from the generating side of it to the transmission to the distribution. You will agree with me that the whole idea of privatization or privatizing the power assets was intended to engender and introduce the private sector enterprise into the waste powers are generated, transmitted, and distributed. When these power assets were handed over to the private sector operators, there was a special a sales purchase agreement that was executed between the seller, that is the federal government of the through the PPE, and the private sector investors who bought those assets. And that SPA defined clearly the terms and conditions that guided those sales. They were expected to ramp up generation. They were expected to bring in injecting more funds. They were expected to bring in more enterprise in the way those places are run. Now, you recall that these assets were underpriced, just like we mentioned over time, between 1999 to the time those assets were sold. A purported $16 to $18 billion was pumped into that sector. Of course, most of those funds did not even get to the point where they were supposed to utilize. But let's not even look at it. 3.5 trillion assets were sold for 404 billion. Who is a giveaway? Those assets were purchased. We expected that 3 years down the line that those private sector investors will have ramped up distribution. The transmission company will have been concessioned and broken down into different zones to enable them to function efficiently. You will agree with me that our transmission grid has so decayed that become obsolete and need thorough overhaul. Then for the DISCO, the same problem. They've not added any major value to the distribution lines that were given to them. To worsen matters, the ministries and departments and agencies of the federal government that were supposed to pay for the services rendered to them are only these GENCOs and DISCOs. It is on record that they are owing them over 300 to 400 billion. So you look at all the challenges, all the problems facing that sector, and you now clearly understand why we are not ramping up generation, why we are not transmitting what we're supposed to transmit, and why we're not distributing to the point that we wanted. As at the time those assets were sold, we were producing about 4,000 megawatts.
In Emeka, the laws of the power sector also seems to not be too straight, and the National Assembly is actually ready to amend the laws of that sector. But before we go into those laws, already we see that the power sector, the power companies are battling with a lot of debt. The GENCOs are owing about 400 billion naira, while the DISCOs are owed about 100 billion naira. And till date, Nigeria has expended about 5 trillion naira on that sector. Don't you think it's actually time to open the power sector doors to foreign investors?
I totally agree with you, because basically what happened in 2013 was that these assets were sold to, I'm sorry to use the word, mostly cronies of the powers that be. Some of them entered into different arrangements and consortium to present a kind of a phase that shows that they have technical and the financial capacity. But if you look at it below the surface, you discover that not a majority of them have that technical and financial capacity to sweat the assets that they took over. And again, you also understand that most of them bought those assets with almost 100% leverage financing. They borrowed to fund. Somebody that bought $200 million worth of an asset with 100% or 90% leverage funding, at a time exchange rate was at 158. Now imagine how you will have been wiped out based on the exchange rate devaluation. And that is why they've not added. And again, like you pointed out, the power policy, the gas pricing policy and everything has also worked to militate against development in that sector. Now, that is why I appreciate the efforts of National Assembly in unbundling this behemoth. The idea, some of the policies discourages the idea of doing captive power projects that are more than 5 megawatts. Because how you used to have a policy that says if you generate anything more than 5 megawatts, you put the rest, the excess, into the national grid. But with what the National Assembly is trying to do now, it will help us. It will simply means if I live in Ogbomosho and we live within the locality, I would think we can be able to consume adequate power that will attract an investor. We can now call in somebody that can generate and say, okay, hey, we have capacity to consume up to 10 megawatts. Can you come and do power plant and serve us? And I tell you, that will bring in more investments. It will also help investors to explore other alternative sources of feedstock for what they want to produce. I think if the National Assembly will go all the hog to amend the bills, the power bills, introduce elements that will support captive power projects above 5 megawatts, and that will also allow people to distribute within a given captive market, it will go a long way in opening up that sector and saving us from the kind of problems we are currently faced. And again, the structures and the kind of fencing that was given to these DISCOs and GENCOs are not giving room for new investors to come in. I pray that the National Assembly will muster the courage and go all the way to amend the policies in such a way that it will bring in more private sector investors. There are many private sector investors, foreign investors that are willing to come into this market. But the current inhibiting policies that inhibits free entry has to be amended.
Yeah, the National Assembly is actually taking a bold step to actually amend the laws of the power sector. But let's look at what some quarters are also clamoring for, and that's talking about the state of emergency, the government declaring a state of emergency in that sector where all tiers of government will be provided with the powers needed to implement plans aimed at sustaining power supply. But do you think the state of emergency, the declaration of a state of emergency, is the right one to do?
Yes, it is the right one to do. But of course, we have to also define the scope, the structure, and the dynamics of the state of emergency. Now, like I mentioned to you earlier on, these assets were sold, the GENCOs and the DISCOs, were sold based on a sales purchase agreement that documented the relationships. Now, what the federal government of Nigeria will have done, especially this current federal government, was to have invited these investors to a roundtable discussion, listen to them, find out what are their challenges. Now, look at the sales purchase agreements that were signed. What were the overhead agreements and conditions and terms, obligations and liabilities that were entered into between them and the federal government? Where the federal government has failed, they should also mitigate, they should also provide remedies. Where these guys have failed, they should also provide remedies. If we now discover, based on a forensic review of their activities, that they do not have capacity, we will also compare them by word of moral suasion, so that not to discourage other investors who think that we can easily flout agreements. Who moral suasion, who pressure on them. They do not have the financial capacity. Then they should bring in other people. There are many people that are willing to partner with them. I will give you an instance. I won't mention the name. There was one particular GENCO that we are working with. They bought an asset for almost $200 million in 2013 December. By August 2014, we bought a foreign investor that was willing to give them $150 million to buy 40% of those assets. They refused. But somebody bought an asset worth $200 million in December 2013. 8 months after, somebody is offering you $150 million to take 40%. You said no, you can only give them 20%. It's greed. They don't have the capacity. They don't want to open the space and allow more investors who can come in to bring in equity investment and then even help them to do leverage financing. So the federal government must have to put their feet on the ground and to demand that these people, before you demand that they fulfill their own obligation, the federal government must also endeavor to fulfill their own obligation to ensure that every debt that is owed these guys are paid. When you've done your bit, then you can put your feet on the ground and tell them, hey, if you cannot fulfill this obligation, get people that can help them. You can also work with the Federal Ministry of Power, Nigeria Investment Promotion Commission, and other agencies to get investors who are willing to partner with these guys and force them to go into the alliance to ensure that we sweat these assets. Nigeria has no business to talking about 5,000, 2,000 megawatts. The kind of economy we have, we should be talking about 20,000, 5,000 megawatts. South Africa does not even have up to 1/3 of our population. They record to 45,000 megawatts. And the feedstock that they use, coal, we have it more in abundance in Nigeria. Even our coal is better feedstock because our coal is of low sulfur. And the surface coal, not even the one you have to turn 8 kilometers into the earth. We must put our feet to the ground. Those are the regulators, the ministries, the departments and agencies. The problem with Nigeria is that there's so much per demand, so much man on man. Most of these are all intertwined. You'll be shocked to find out that even some of those people who are supposed to be regulators have stakes in some of these companies. So when a regulator has stakes in what is supposed to supervise, what is it? How can it supervise them properly and appropriately?
Okay, but what happens to the 26 power plants that Nigeria has? Already we know that 3 of them are powered by water. And at some point in the season, we'll see the Nigerians enjoying power supply at some point. How can Nigeria actually sustain this gain at these times when there is the rainy season?
We must overcome this attitude of always depending on seasonal weather conditions to drive our power supply. When there is rain, the hydro power plants will go up. When there is acid, they will go down. No, we have other feedstocks. We have coal. South African power supply is generated by almost 45% through coal, and we have better coal. Most of us from doing embedded power plants that are close to the source, from Kogi to Enugu State. We have rich surface coal with low sulfur. Why have we not explored alternative sources of alternative feedstock through coal power plants? We have huge gas supply. Why have we not taken time to sort out the issues of nitrogen and insurgency, and to also do it with our gas pricing policy to make it more competitive? The enable people go into that sector to generate more gas. See, coal is not the only, the water is not the only source of feedstock, the hydropower project. We can explore coal, we can explore wind, we can explore solar, we can even explore even I would say nuclear, because we do not yet have the technology and the discipline to go nuclear. But we can explore coal and other feedstocks. We should not depend on seasonal weather conditions to drive power supply or energy supply in Nigeria. It is so disheartening that at this level of our development, we're actually talking about power supply influenced by rainfall and all those stuff. It's so unfortunate.
Yeah, just before I let you go, what do you expect from the amendment of the laws by the National Assembly?
The amendment of the law, if it goes through, will help us to, will help communities, will help clusters of industries and companies to do captive power projects beyond the 5 megawatts capacity that is required. Even schools, even universities, even colleges, you will see people coming together within a location to do their own power and distribution and get somebody that will help energize it for them. I can tell you, well, it will bring in competition, it will bring in more investors, it will open up this space, and it will also hasten to make some of those who bought our power assets and who are not sweating it to up their games.
Okay, just one word before you go, finally. Now, these 11 distribution companies are complaining about that approved intervention fund just last week. Do you think the government is actually pampering them, or what should be the step?
Yeah. The government is pampering them. Let me ask you a question. When the National Fertilizer Company of Nigeria was sold in 2005, can you remind me how many intervention funds that the federal government floated to support the management of Notori? When the petrochemical plant element was sold to Indorama, can you remind me how many intervention funds the federal government floated to support the new management of Indorama? We should stop pampering these people. If they don't want to live up to the terms and conditions of the state, we should revoke it. Enough is enough. Are they in business to collect cheap funds from them? They should seek. They are not supposed to even to. Federal government is not supposed to intervene to provide them with funds. It's not a private enterprise.
Exactly, because they've been privatized.
Those assets, if they don't do their numbers, you know, like it's profitable for them to buy it. It's the same kind of problem. Anyway, if you look at even those who bought the assets, who are those that bought those assets? They are the same people ruling us today.
Nemeka Obiariri, financial analyst and economist, many thanks for your time on Business Nigeria. Well, crude oil prices are down in the global market as weak trades stay. At the London market, the Brent crude trades for $51 a barrel as 23 cents gets off last week's price peg. The OPEC basket price drops to $49 per barrel, indicating lean revenues for oil-producing nations. Well, that's Business Nigeria for today. Many thanks for watching. I am Yemisi Lanre Ido.